So let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph, Disney's 52nd animated motion picture. Bad Days, Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2012 3D computer animated comedy flick Wreck-It Ralph. Released by Disney, as this is the studio's 52nd animated feature film. Directed by Rich Moore in his feature film directorial debut. This person who recently directed episodes of The Simpsons, Futurama, and The Critic. And featuring the voices of John C. Reilly, who voices the title character, along with Sarah Silverman, Jack McBrayer, and Jane Lynch. It tells the story of the eponymous arcade game villain who rebels against his bad guy role and dreams of becoming a hero. Now, for years I had wanted to see this and never did get a chance. It wasn't until 2018 when I finally got to see it for the first time before I went and saw its sequel, which I'll be reviewing later on. Anyway, here's the story. When Litwack's arcade closes at night, the various video game characters leave their normal in-game roles and socialize in a power strip. Wreck-It Ralph, the antagonist of the game Fix-It Felix Jr., is ostracized by its other characters for being the villain of the game, while the titular hero Felix is praised and awarded medals. After the game's inhabitants exclude Ralph from their 30th anniversary party, he sets out to earn a medal for himself to gain his neighbor's respect. Felix worries that Ralph has gone turbo, a term coined when notorious racing game character Turbo attempted to take over the game Road Blasters, another racing game, which resulted in both of their games being unplugged. Ralph learns he can obtain a medal from the first-person shooter Hero's Duty. After disrupting a game session, Ralph scales the game's central beacon and obtains a medal, only to hatch a Cybug, a dangerous insect-like creature. Ralph and the Cybug stumble into an escape pod which is launched out of the game and crash land in Sugar Rush, a candy-themed kart racing game. With Ralph missing, his game is labeled as malfunction and faces being unplugged. Felix ventures to Hero's Duty and allies with the game's heroine, Sergeant Calhoun, to retrieve Ralph and the Cybug. Well, as if being in, Sugar Rush wasn't enough, Ralph has the misfortune of running into a crazy little girl named Vanellope von Schweetz, who steals Ralph's medal to buy her way into the nightly race that determines which characters are playable the next day. But the ruler of the game, King Candy, forbids her from racing because she has glitches that cause her to teleport erratically. So Ralph and Vanellope agree to work together to retrieve his medal and help her win a race. They build a cart and hide out at Diet Cola Mountain, an unfinished racetrack where Ralph teaches her to drive. Now that part's pretty funny, the inside, especially when about there's Mentos in there, which really causes a big explosion like a volcano, you know. Anyway, King Candy hacks the game's code to obtain Ralph's medal and offers it to Ralph in exchange for preventing Vanellope from racing. So, excuse me, everyone. He claims that if Vanellope wins and becomes playable, the glitches will lead to Sugar Rush being unplugged. Unable to leave the game because of her glitch, Vanellope will be left in the unplugging while King Candy and his subjects become homeless in the arcade. Ralph reluctantly agrees and destroys Vanellope's cart despite her pleas Distraught over the remnants of her cart, she knows he really is a bad guy and runs off. Upon returning to his game, which has been evacuated in anticipation of it being unplugged the next morning, Ralph notices Vanellope's image on the side of the Sugar Rush cabinet and realizes she was meant to be a playable character. Meanwhile, Felix and Calhoun search the game for Ralph, and Felix has fallen for Calhoun, but she abandons him when he inadvertently reminds her of her late fiance, who was killed by a cybug on their wedding day. Felix is later imprisoned in King Candy's castle, but Ralph frees him and Vanellope, and Felix fixes the cart. Calhoun discovers a swarm of cybug eggs underground, which hatch and start devouring the game. Okay, now for the ending, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, continue on after the 5 seconds. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Now, Vanellope participates in the race, but is attacked by King Candy. Vanellope's glitch causes him to be unmasked as Turbo, who took over Sugar Rush and displaced Vanellope as the main character. So she glitches to escape Turbo, who is then eaten by a cybug. Ralph, Felix, and Calhoun evacuate the game, but Vanellope is trapped due to her glitches. When Calhoun points out that the cybugs can be attracted and destroyed by a beacon of light, as in Hero's Duty, Ralph decides to make Diacoa Mountain erupt, replicating the beacon. Ralph is confronted by Turbo, now fused with the cybug that devoured him. Ralph makes the mountain erupt and falls into its depths to sacrifice himself. But Vanellope saves him using her glitching ability. The volcanic beacon lures and permanently destroys the cybugs and Turbo. Vanellope crosses the finish line, rebooting Sugar Rush and restoring her status as memory as Princess Vanellope, the main character of the game, but keeps her glitching ability. Ralph and Felix return home and their game is spared. Felix and Calhoun marry. Vanellope gains popularity as a playable character, and a content Ralph gains respect from his fellow characters. End of story, my friends. So, what did I think of Wreck-It Ralph? Well, I must admit that this was very fun. I just revisited it on Disney Plus. This was only the second time I watched it. The first time was on Freeform. But anyway, I really did enjoy this movie. I had a whole lot of fun with it. I really got to enjoy, well, even the video game cameos. Mostly we see them in, well, the Badanon villain meeting, which of course is a take of Al-Anon, Alcoholics Anonymous. That included Bowser from the Mario franchise, Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog, and even Neff from Altered Beast. Wow. So anyway, you get to see lots of other characters from games such as Street Fighter, Q*bert, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Burger Time. Oh, plus a lot of others. And there are characters that are mentioned but don't actually appear, like Lara Croft and Mario, but anyway. But still, the film had a pretty good story. I liked the atmosphere of all of these here things, especially the Sugar Rush, which was really good. Now, I like John C. Reilly, who really surprised me, even though despite I've only know him from mostly some PG-13 R-rated movies, since he's appeared in several like Magnolia and let's see, Talladega Nights, and while I never watched it, Step Brothers. He's been in Walk Hard, and I know more recently he was in Stan and Laurel, who voices the title character. Now, another person I was rather surprised to hear was foul-mouthed funny gal Sarah Silverman, who I've heard her voice some characters on Comedy Central's Crank Yankers. This would only be the second non-mature type of thing I've heard her voice in, or seen her in, because the other being the Jack Black flick, The School of Rock. She voices Vanellope. Pretty good character, actually. Kind of a little bit of an annoying bit, but hey, she's just crazy and all. Jack McBrayer voices Fix It Felix Jr. Jane Lynch, most of y'all know her from lots of things, most notably TV's Glee as Sergeant Calhoun. There's also the voices of Alan Tudyk, let's see, Mindy Kaling, Ed O'Neill, Dennis Haysbert. Oh, believe me, the list goes on. So anyway, and I will tell you something else. The music's real good. The the score, which was originally done by Henry Jackman, was really good. And some of the songs we hear are pretty good too, including Owl City's "When Can I See You Again" and AKB48's "Sugar Rush." We hear Rihanna's "Shut Up and Drive." And of course, we hear Wreck It Ralph, which was done by the duo that brought us the ever popular Pac Man fever, Buckner and Garcia. But that was pretty good. That almost brought me back to the days of hearing the tracks on the Pac Man fever album. Well, when it was originally out, not the re-released versions, though. The re-recorded ones, well, you get the point. But anyway, Wreck It Ralph, it's fun. I just had a whole lot of FUN fun. So the question is, would I recommend Wreck-It Ralph? Yes, I would. You better believe it. It's got a good story. It's got great characters. Music's real good, etc., 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 etc. So check out Wreck-It Ralph. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this movie? You can tell me in the comment section below. And of course, it would go on to have a sequel that would be released about 6 years later. Now, of course, the film did pretty well. It went on to make $471 million worldwide. So that was really good. Yes, which was 189 million in North America and 281 million overseas and stuff. And so that's real good. Anyway, again, tell me what you thought about Wreck-It Ralph in the comment section below. If you liked the video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel as well, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And please remember, send me some questions for my Q&A. I've only now gotten just 2 YouTubers who have sent me questions. I need a few more. Can anybody help me out, or else the Q&A is off? The deadline is midnight this Thursday on New Year's Eve, okay? And the Q&A is to be due this Saturday. I'm still going to do it live just in case if some of y'all miss out and send me questions. I know some of y'all will join me, maybe. But anyway, I'm just saying, please send me some questions. I'd appreciate 5 questions or less on the stuff I talk about, okay? Thank you. Anyway, join me next time when I bring to you a review of Ralph Breaks the Internet, aka Wreck-It Ralph 2. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, you might want to check out some of these other videos. In the upper left-hand corner is my spoiler-free review for Sonic the Hedgehog, which came out earlier this year. In the upper right-hand corner is my triple review of the Super Mario Bros. Trilogy for the original Nintendo that I did a few months ago for the original game's 35th anniversary. Or if you want some more Disney, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent review for the underrated Honey, I Shrunk the Kid sequel, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.